Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, you guessed it, it is the series where I don't provide the content. Hopefully you don't provide the content, but other people provide the content for this series, reviewing Arm Chair GMs for the Toronto Maple Leafs on Capfriendly. I can't really remember the gentleman's name, but the last time I did one of these Armchair GMs, someone actually commented in the comment section below saying that that was their Armchair GM that I made fun of. So hopefully that doesn't happen today. Alright, let's not waste any time here. We're going to click on this one called Deadline by LeafBoy101. And right off the bat, okay, he's got Matt Dumba and Kevin Fiala coming over from the Minnesota Wild in exchange for an injured Andreas Johnsson, I guess. I'm not sure when this was published. Timothy Liljegren, Nick Robertson, Jeremy Bracco, and a 2020 second first-round pick. So obviously a vast overpayment, but it's an interesting thing because let's touch on Nick Robertson a little bit. What did Nick Robertson ever do to you, Leafsboy 101, except for have the 9th highest goals per game in the OHL ever in a single season? Nick Robertson's a really interesting prospect for the Toronto Maple Leafs and one that we're going to have many conversations on in the months to come because his birthday is really interesting. He's still 18 years old, but that September 11th birthday, if he was born 4 or 5 days later, he would have been eligible for this year's entry draft. And I don't know about you, but someone who's got 44 goals in 39 games definitely would not have been drafted in the second round. And Nick Robertson's age and birthday brings up another interesting conversation because in order to be eligible for the American Hockey League, you need to be turning at least 20 years old by the end of December of that year when the season starts to be allowed to play in there. So next season, he's not even going to be allowed to play for the Marlies. He's going to either have to go back to the Petes or play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And if you're wondering if a player of his stature at 5'9" and 164 could come in and be effective in the NHL, well, a comparable player, the first player that just jumps out in my mind is Alex DeBrincat, being 5'7", 165, was drafted in the second round, the same as Robertson. And I mean, Alex DeBrincat is one of the only players in OHL history to pot 3 50-goal seasons in a row. And in his rookie year, he had 28 goals and 52 points playing for the Chicago Blackhawks. So maybe they have a similar career trajectory, but I definitely would not include Nick Robertson in a trade for Matt Dumba or Kevin Fiala or both of them. Alright, I spent way too much time talking about Nick Robertson in that first one. So this next one's going to be called My Ideal Leafs Offseason. So for the 2020-2021 season, and I already did a video covering an Armchair GM for next season on this channel, so make sure to check that out. And this one is brought to us by Doc Arwen0. So let's see what the doc has prescribed for us today. He's prescribing Julius Honka, Emily Rasanen, Ilya Mikheyev at $2.25 million. Okay, Kyle Clifford for over $1 million. Jason Spezza, Jake Muzzin. Okay, that's not the most realistic contract for Jake Muzzin, as it was already reported that it's more than likely going to be $5.5 million in 4 seasons, and they're just waiting on some weird salary cap restriction to announce that contract. Luke Shen coming back to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay, that's an interesting one. And Travis Hamonic, where's all this money coming from? Andreas Johnsson coming back the other way. Okay, for a second and a third, and Julius Honka. All right, whatever. He just totally forgot about Travis Dermott. Yeah, it's just Travis Dermott doesn't exist. All right, and this next one, do I even dare click on it? I know you guys see which one I'm talking about here. You already know which one I'm talking about, and the cursor is not even near it. Oh, it's moving closer. It's moving closer. Nylander 1-for-1 swap by There's Always Next Year. Do we need a drum roll to see what he's trading for William Nylander straight up? Yep. Let's hit it with a drum roll. Miro Heiskanen straight up for William Nylander. Okay. I thought it was going to be a little bit more outlandish than that. I don't know if Dallas says yes to that. If I was a Leafs fan, I would definitely say yes to that, but I don't know. Okay. This just kind of weird. Alright, so this next one that I'm going to click on is called Leaf Oiler Rumor. Both fan bases weigh in, and it's brought to us by Boomer125. I believe Boomer provided us with content the last time that we did something like this. And yeah, this is the trade that I thought was going to be displayed in here. Kasperi Kapanen going to the Edmonton Oilers for Adam Larsson and Jesse Puljujärvi, Jesse Pool Party, whatever you want to call him. And I mean, he's having a decent little season for himself over in the Finnish Elite League, but what's the Finnish Elite League like in the scope of the hockey world? Like the 4th or 5th best professional league out there? So, and I don't know, he's had 2 hip surgeries already early on in his career. And I mean, Adam Larsson's a defenseman. He's a right shot defenseman who has 1 more year left on his deal after this one for like $4.166666667 million, so he'll fit right in here on this cursed Maple Leafs team. But it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm overrating Kasperi Kapanen, but I would rather attach another asset or even two more to Kasperi Kapanen and just get a better defender than Adam Larsson. Yes, Puljujärvi is interesting to me. He's a former 4th overall pick, so he has that mystery box kind of value added to him, but it's just, I don't know. All right, so I think we have time for two more here, so I'm going to click on Toronto Still Needs a Goalie by Shyhawk. And I've been pretty critical of Frederik Andersen here, but let's just talk about this. And it's obviously brought to us by a Blackhawks fan with a name like Shyhawk, and okay. the reason why I'm laughing is because TSN Hockey had an article posted last season suggesting that the Maple Leafs should trade William Nylander for Brandon Saad, and this would give validation to that. And I don't want to give validation to any TSN Hockey article that proposes trading William Nylander, and especially not for Brandon Saad. But this is coming with Robin Lehner, who has 1 year left on his deal. He's an expiring UFA at the end of this year. And Connor Murphy, I believe, has years left on his deal. Yeah, $3.85 million for the next 2 seasons after this one. 26, a left shot defenseman, so that wouldn't really help out the Toronto Maple Leafs too much. I'm not a fan of no. And alright, the last one that I'm going to click on here because it goes against everything that we stand for on this channel, and that is selling at the trade deadline, because this team does not deserve the playoffs. Brought to us by Leafs 101. And okay, he's got Jake Muzzin going to Winnipeg. They need a defenseman for Logan Stanley, a former first-round pick, but I haven't really heard much about him, so he's maybe not that good. He's like a bubble prospect and a first-round pick. And Tyson Barrie to the Vegas Golden Knights, another team looking for a defenseman for another first-round pick. So this would net the Leafs with 2 first-round picks in the upcoming draft, and they have a bunch of 6th and 7th rounders as well. But let's just talk about this for a second here, because I know that I joke around and I smile and laugh when I say it, the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to make the playoffs. But, I mean, I've been really critical of Frederik Andersen. I've been really critical of this team as of late. But do I think that all of a sudden Frederik Andersen has just forgot how to play goalie? No, he's obviously in an extended rut. But if Frederik Andersen can be the goalie that we all know he can be, I mean, 9-14, 19, 18, 18, 17, the Maple Leafs are going to glide into the playoffs. Even a little bit less of what we know he could be. If we could get a consistent, like, 9-10 or 9-15 out of him the rest of the way, they're going to glide in there. And once you get into the playoffs, once you get there, anything can happen against anybody. I mean, the schedule for the Maple Leafs for the rest of February is not too kind. There's a lot of playoff teams in there, but it's going to be a very telling stretch for this team, I think, with the trade deadline in the middle of all of this. And things are looking pretty equal in the standings, with Florida having 2 games in hand and being 4 points back. So, I mean, this team is exactly where we wanted them to be when Mike Babcock got fired, right? They're there. The playoff spot is theirs to lose right now. And if they lose it, shame on them and shame on us for letting them trick us. But that's going to be it for this one, guys, so make sure to like and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. And guys, remember, if someone tries to tell you that the Maple Leafs are not going to make the playoffs, you just look at them, you smile, and you say, well, that's your opinion, and I hope you have a nice day.